Avi Melamed is an Israeli author and independent strategic intelligence analyst specializing in the Arab and Muslim world and its impact on Israel. I spoke to him earlier, and I started by asking him how he and his family in Israel are after the attack by Iran last night.
Good morning, Anya. Thank you so much. They are well and fine, including my cat. That was, of course, a little bit panicked, but they are fine. Thank you.
That's good to hear. All eyes, of course, are now on how Israel will respond to the Iranian attack. What do you think that response is likely to be? And if I can ask, do you believe that that will make your family safer, that response?
Well, my family is, however, not safer because the Iranians and their proxies have been attacking Israel, not from yesterday. They are attacking Israel for the last 40 years. As for the Israeli response, I do anticipate a significant Israel response. I think that it will be clearly coordinated with the United States. The whole issue here is to find the right balance between a response that will send a very clear message across the region, on the one hand, and a response that will not necessarily generate a further escalation. I would expect Israel to hit hard in different areas of Iran, basically targeting in a pinpoint manner, differently from the Iranians, who have been indiscriminately sending hundreds of ballistic missiles on cities. Israel will clearly pinpoint attack targets in Iran, very clear military-affiliated or governmental-affiliated targets in Iran, including, I think, some strategic infrastructure, and that will send a clear, strong message to the Iranian regime that the level of further retaliation, should the regime decide to continue its attack, might be even much more severe.
So you're talking about the Israeli response hitting hard. Following whatever Israeli response comes, do you then see any path for de-escalation, or do you see this as Israel's fight to the finish with Iran and with its proxies?
Look, Israel is in a situation where it's now fighting for its life. And in that situation, you need to be very robust and send a very clear message to whoever wants to threat you. And I think that Israel said it very clearly. They are going to retaliate, and they are going to retaliate hard. And the purpose of all that is, in the end of the day, to make clear in our neighborhood, the Middle East, that anyone that think about eliminating Israel is going to pay a very significant price to the point it's going to be eliminated. We see right now what Israel is doing to Hezbollah and Hamas, two major branches of the Iranians. And the Mullah regime in Tehran, who is trying desperately to restore its declining deterrence image, basically launched this attack. But in the end of the day, the outcome could be totally counterproductive as far as the Mullah regime is concerned.
Can I ask you, I mean, you're an intelligence analyst. Do you think Iran is close to developing a nuclear weapon?
Well, according to the reports, the Iranians are definitely on the trajectory. I cannot tell you exactly in terms of time frame, but these are the estimations. And also it depends how do you look at the components of this whole project, sort of speaking. But definitely there is a consensus wall-to-wall among experts that the Iranians are continuing on that trajectory. So this is yet one other challenge that we have to take into consideration when we are talking about that regime.
So in a few years, the missiles that were fired at Israel might have nuclear warheads on them?
Look, I mean, I don't think that we need to contemplate those scenarios. I think that we basically have to take the lessons from up until now and implement the lessons. And the lesson is very simple. Look, we have reached to this point, first and foremost, because of the rapprochement policy of Western powers vis-a-vis the Mullah regime. All those years, the Western governments basically, though they understand how severely dangerous is that regime, they basically chose to kick this can down the road. But if you don't deal with bully when it's little, you are going to deal with the bully when it's bigger. This is exactly what we see right now. And so I think and hope that this is in this very pivotal moment, in the context of the region, but not only in the context of the region, I do hope that the next thing that will happen is that Western government will gain their senses and basically draw the lessons that they had to draw, so we will not even have to start contemplating about situation where where possibly the mullah regime sometime in the future will have nuclear weapons.
On that note, how can the states of Israel and Iran coexist peacefully?
The state of Israel and the Iranian people doesn't have a problem. The problem is the mullah regime. This is a brutal regime. This is a very aggressive and dangerous regime, a regime that is brutalizing its own people, a regime that is responsible for the death and misery and destruction across the Middle East for years and years. The issue is not the Iranian people. The issue is the mullah regime in Tehran. That regime has to be significantly restrained to the point, even hopefully it will be eliminated, because we see very clearly day in, day out, the enormous damage and threat that this regime presents, not only to its people, not only to the region, not only to the state of Israel, but also to the world. And it has to be addressed forcefully.
Avi Melamed, strategic intelligence analyst. Avi, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
Of course, thank you for having me. Have a good day.